I'm Jay Batista. I've been grooming for 17 years now. I was born and raised in the west side of Puerto Rico, which is laid back people. So where you were born and raised there, you find a job over there, and then you just live there. I used to work with my dad back in the day, and we used to have industrial engineering company where we used to give maintenance to the factories that have compressed air equipment. Everything was going great until the governor put a law, it's called the 936 law, which removed all the factories from Puerto Rico and transferred them to Dominican Republic. So after I worked my dad and everything went down, and I really didn't like going to the university because it wasn't for me. I started cleaning cars, painting houses, and I used to have a partner with me back in the day, and her parents gave her a miniature schnauzer. So one day she goes to me and says, "Oh, we have to take the dog to the grooming salon." And 17 years back in Puerto Rico, there wasn't grooming salons like now. There was grooming salons on the veterinary clinics and in some places where they sell food for dogs and stuff like that. So I got there, and the guy explains to me what is the process that he's going to do with the dog. And then I noticed that he says $40. And 17 years ago, I didn't even have a bank account. I had a wall barber clipper in my bathroom that it was given to me. It was all rusty and everything. And I went to the computer and looked for a video on how to groom a schnauzer on YouTube. Once I finished grooming the dog, and the haircut was pretty bad. Obviously, it was my first haircut. And then she liked it. Imagine, I don't even have a grooming salon. I don't even have clippers. I don't know what to do with them. It's okay with you if I groom the dogs here in the table that we eat our food? And she said, yeah, if it's for you to grow, I'll help you to grow, and it will make me feel better. So from that moment, I posted a picture, and the next morning when I wake up, I went to the computer and I have 4 messages. And those were 4 appointments, 4 schnauzer appointments. So after that, I continued to improve myself, just grooming schnauzers and doing shave downs. One day, I remember this lady came in and she had a poodle. Bro, I didn't even prep the dog correctly. I didn't know anything about structure, angulation, nothing like that. And the dog has holes, the legs were a mess. So I started putting bows to hide all the mess. Then I left the dogs to run in the shop formally. Oh, it looks great. It has all those bandanas. Smells good. And then the lady comes in, bro. And the dog, bro, is running around the lady. She's running there. And then she goes and say, hey, can you go get my dog? And I'm like, oh my God. And her dog is right there. Like right next to her, like and she's like, "Oh, that's a cute dog. That's a cute dog." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's your dog right there." And she's like, "That's my dog." And yeah, that's why she's like going up and that. Oh my God! She picks it up, and then she looks at me and says, "You're the worst groomer in the whole world." And I'm making sure from now on that nobody brings their dog to groom here. And since I suffer from depression and all that fucking destroyed me, because that's why I always say men are very immature. And I was like, I grow schnauzers. This is me without having any education. I grow schnauzers. I'm like, I shave down Shih Tzus. I tried to do it the best I could. So then I realized that even though that lady hit me, and I'm still looking for the lady to groom the dog for free, bro. Like, give me any dog you have. I'm sorry, but she helped me go and study. So one day, I see this car coming, and this guy, he was well dressed, and he has some boxes on his hand, and I see him, and I was like, oh my God, that's Victor Rosado. And then I noticed he had some classes that he was gonna give, and he took that class and he graduated gold in his class. And it was a really good class, introduction and prep and in structure and all about commercial grooming, stuff like that. And they said, oh, we're gonna have a competition. and then there's gonna come these educators to educate us. And I didn't have a dog. So Jose Arias comes in and he's like, hey, you don't have a dog? I have a giant schnauzer. And she was all bobby out. And I look at her and she automatically made eye contact with me and opened herself up for me. Like, it was like, wow. So that's when I fall in love with giant schnauzers. Like, so I did in that class the miniature schnauzer groom, not the giant schnauzer, the miniature schnauzer. And Pina was there, and I remember it was not correct, obviously. I remember the dog goes out from the shop, and the owner calls me, and he's like, bro, this dog as fast never had received a groom like this. Like, it looks great. Even though it was a miniature schnauzer groom without no chest, he liked it. So I told him, listen, you talk to Jose Arias. After we went to an agreement and make it work. And during all those months before the competition that was announced after that class with Pina, I fell in love even more with her because I learned more grooming her and how to work with the dog and all that the most I could. Nala, which is the schnauzer, comes from Louisville, Kentucky, and I received a call from the owner. Robin Baker Clifford is the name of her. I owe her a lot. She's like one of my mentors, like one of the hidden gems. And if she's a schnauzer breeder, giant schnauzer breeder, she's an awesome fucking giant schnauzer groomer. So I got there and I see all this, oh bro, it was like heaven. All this mini, giant schnauzer babies. And there was this little guy, he was like running side by side and like very hyper, like running around. And she said, who do you think is the pick of the litter? And I'll say, well, if I'm not mistaken, that guy right there. And she said, yes, bro. He was like, ah. So I named him Clemente because Roberto Clemente is from Puerto Rico. He was a baseball player. So I named him Clemente, and I still have him to now. Before we go back to Puerto Rico, I told her I want a class with you. So I went in a room with her, and she gave me all the schnauzer tips, all the lengths, how to do the chest, how to do all the back, how to structure, sculpting with the scissors, all that. And she's a beast, bro. If she sees I love her, she's amazing. And her husband just passed away. He treated me like a king over there, Steve. He's amazing. He was amazing. And when I went back, I was ready. I was ready for competing because I have all the knowledge. It was 2017, 2018. I won Puerto Rico 2 times champion. It was in a purebred class. And in the second competition, I met Pam Lauritsen, which is a amazing woman. She's very intelligent. She's the developer of the ISCC, which is the International Society of Canine Cosmetologists. That's where I study a lot of my things about skin and coat, stuff like that. But the person that was there for me was Irina Pinkunsevich, which I had the training with her. And meeting her was something that there are no words to describe, because this lady, she's very, very, oh man, she's very strict on when she's teaching you, and she's very dedicated. When she's working, she's like, it's time to work. There's no time to waste. And she's the one that leaded me on that. Then I started focusing on being a groomer and grooming dogs and getting well known on the island where I come, which is in Puerto Rico. And I started giving classes there, doing tours about Asian fusion, which is my passion. And I'm there and working faces and representing also brands. So I was working in a booth and then going and giving classes at the same time. And I remember that I had a faces class, and they put me in this big room, And this is a very, very important part. And I had my first class, and I remember the class was at 9, it was a faces class, and it was 8:55. And the only people that were there was me and the sound guy. And I said, well, God, if this is your sign that no one is gonna come to my class, well, it's okay. So I continue to work because I have studied during my career that we should stop complaining about life, because even breathing is like being like a millionaire for me. So I said, this is it. So I told the sound guy, I said, I'm gonna go real quick to the bathroom and then I'll come back. And when I came back, it was full. It was packed, the class was packed. And that for me, I even got almost like my eyes were watery and all that, because I said like, okay, this is your sign. That for me was like, wow, so I will continue to do that. During all that year, I learned that helping others was one of my dopamine hits. Like, gave me that strength, and that it makes me so happy. And then I was nominated for Up and Comer Speaker of the Year, because I won like with an internal battle and saying, you have 1 year to do it. If you don't do it, then you continue to try, but this is your battle, your challenge. I received a call, and it was me that I was winning the Up and Coming Speaker of the Year award.
All right, the award for speaker or up and coming speaker of the year. And of course, all of you guys are great up and coming. We love to see new people coming out, but this guy's gonna flip, Mr. Dave Batista.
So, and then I ran.
Yes, in. If he's not, I'm gonna start announcing for me. I'm gonna be like, bro, dude, hey, man, I love you, man. I love you. Like that.
And once I got inside that arena, everybody started screaming, and it felt so good, because in 5 seconds I started to think about all the struggle and all the stuff that I went through all that year to make it happen, traveling, spending time with my kid. We go through a lot, like we go through a lot of stuff, and I was in that stage, and I remember that when I Jace Crook is like, oh, you're like a wreck, and I told him, listen, I was so sad explaining to someone about some grooming stuff, and I told him I did it. I can't recall my message, but maybe you'll see
I was
it.
in battle for that. So, becoming a speaker is, I think, a great come through for me. And I have never been so happy in my life to represent a family like Barkleigh. And when you're a speaker, you have to take some time. Even you represent brands. When a newcomer goes and asks you a question, like, you take your time to explain the doubts that they have. Ask how you are physically and mentally first, so you can handle what is grooming really. We all suffer, but we all are important. The reason why you woke up in here is a reason that you have to improve yourself to become, say, right here, and get this award. So, I love you guys. I really do. I'm here for you. Thank you, Barkleigh. Thank you, all the people that voted for me. I'm so grateful for you. Jess, thank you for everything. Ketchy, Always Thompson, Hydra, all the companies that I've helped grow, that they helped me grow back, like Fresh, Wall. I look for everybody to Jess. I'm not afraid to say it because we are a family. Live that hate out. We have to get together to get this industry to the universe. All right? I love
So
that.
I remember I said that and people started clapping and all that. And once I got out, I made the full year. So I represent all the brands that year and one speaker of the year. One of the things that I noticed when I was being educated by Pina and all these mentors that I have had in my career is how passionate they are with educating other people's, even if they're struggling in their lives or passing through a lot of stuff, they will always give the max to it. I think that once you start getting that part on your life where you have to start working for your retirement, for example, but also working for yourself, and you become a father, and you have this beautiful being that is nothing in life is fault at all. You have to commit yourself to work for that kid, but there's also a part where you have only one chance, one opportunity to do whatever is your dream. So I'm not gonna say that having my son, it wasn't part of my dream, because it was, but my career, it took me a while to find what I really love. You know, I told you I studied, I told you I went to this and that, and never find out something until I finally got it. And everything started to come because I'm so passionate about it by itself. There's no more signal that you need. And then I remember one day I was looking at my son, and I was saying, and he didn't speak at all. And I was saying, like, God, give me a signal. And I remember I had emails with brands that wanted to do tours and stuff like that, and I didn't even open them yet. I was in that moment that I had to make a decision on what I really wanted to do with my life. And you know, like I always said, when we are never ready. And for some reason that day I was sitting in a couch and my son was near me. He was like 2 years old. He's now 3. And I'm not afraid of talking about God because I believe in God. And sometimes I admit that I don't always go to church, because I always say that if you want to really look for God, just talk to Him. And I said, just give me a signal on telling me what to do. And I was looking at my son, and I told him, even though he didn't understand, I told him, listen, I just have one chance, one opportunity. I'm gonna do this. Even if it's gonna hurt me and destroy me, I'm gonna do it. And then he looked at me and smiled at me and gave me a hug. And then I said, that's the signal that I needed.